This morning we are going to talk about the Predator Defense Dog, which is a new American breed and is being bred to protect against predators such as wolves, bears, coyotes, bobtails, other lynxes, but also smaller predators such as foxes, raccoons, and also for feral hogs. The breeds that they used to create this breed are predominantly the Rottweiler, the German breed of Molosser, and the Johnson type American Bulldog, which is an American breed of bulldog and is quite massive. Whereas the Rottweiler is one of the smallest mastiffs or Molosser type of dogs, the American Johnson Bulldog is the biggest of all the bulldogs there are. And they use a specific line of American Bulldogs that had better characteristics as in drive and possibilities. So both the Rottweiler and the American Bulldogs are being used as guardian breeds, whereas some bulldogs were also used as catch dogs, for example catching feral hogs. So thereby combining guardian defense dog qualities against humankind, because they talk about this predator defense dog as a dog to face off with predators, but they also face off with humans. And in that case, the purpose looks a lot like that of a band dog. And the band dog is also there to deal with man or beast and to protect against those that bring harm. So that also gives you a perspective if you want something else along the similar lines. And protection against humans, Rottweilers are a very good choice if you get them from working lines. And why is that the case? Because you get the protection properties of a guard dog mixed with a little bit more laid-back character as compared to, for example, a shepherd type of guardian dog. And also you have the size, you have man-stopping ability. The size of a Johnson Bulldog on average is similar to even bigger than that of a Rottweiler. So also these Johnson type Bulldogs have great stopping power. So that brings you to the topic, what other breeds did they use? They wanted to increase the grit, and therefore they bred in working type American Pit Bull Terrier, which is the true gladiator dog, but they use extra large lines. So therefore they also bred in a lot of weight pulling Pit Bull type of dogs. In my opinion, I like the heterosis, so they have increased the gene set. Still the dogs look predominantly Rottweiler type. So if you like Rottweilers, this could be an interesting alternative. But in my opinion, there might be some better choices, and I will explain why. Rottweiler is a dog that is suitable for protection, but lately this dog breed has a low percentage of working specimens. And there are other breeds, and they use this XL Pit Bull Terrier type to do not give away too much of the size. And the size range of this predator defense dog is between 100 and 160 pounds, so about 45 to 72 kilograms, which is quite big to begin with. So that's the point, and there are other types that are being worked more consistently that have similar attributes as the Rottweiler. For example, the Boer Bull. And the Boer Bull is also already bred to deal with human threats, but also animal threats. So for example, baboons, leopards, hyenas, and the likes. So that could be a better choice. Or go with, for example, a livestock protection breed that has been developed to protect against wolves and bears predominantly. So for example, if you want a shorter coat, there are dogs like the Alabai that also feature this very thick, strong skull and big power and size, bigger than the Rottweiler even. So that could be an alternative source of Rottweiler, and then being dealing with some predators. If you want to have a Johnson type of bulldog, of course you get the biggest type of bulldog, but also that with the least drive and the least athletic properties. Normally a cat American bulldog would be Scott type or Margarita painter, which are far more athletic and look a lot more like a Dogo Argentino than a Johnson bulldog. Dogo Argentino is another dog breed that has been developed to deal with, for example, predators such as puma, but especially with hawks. So my worries are that both the Johnson and the Rottweiler carry too little prey drive, and also are not as athletic as they should be. So therefore, if you introduce another factor, you will be almost producing a scatterbred dog that could be very healthy, but also would be hard pressed to deliver with consistency the type of pups that you want. So for example, if you would go with Alabai, which is a livestock protection breed, and Scott type American Bulldog, you would have a similar size, a lot more athletic capabilities and a lot more drive. And also Boer Bull could be a superior choice, even increasing bulk as compared to, for example, Rottweiler. Another thing is there are many good BLOODSPORT programs. For example, American Sentinel K9 that are specifically developed to deal with threats, being human or hunting hawks. So they are not as much to deal with animals that come on your turf, but their protective nature, their hunting drive, as well as their predator disposal skills and strength, would be a very good choice. And these dogs are bred true and very much look like an XL American Pit Bull Terrier of game lines. So not so much weight pool, but game lines, and they are in the bottom range of this predator defense dog already. It could be a far better choice also if you would look towards extra large American Pit Bull Terriers, especially weight pool ones. So those are some of the factors to consider. That being said, I like the initiative a lot, but I think it could be executed far better, and therefore I gave some pointers. I hope that you like this video. If you do, let me know. If you have some additional information that you want to share, or why these choices were made over the choices that I propose, please let me know. Have a great day. So in this video we are going to talk about lion baiting. This is an old blood sport where they use dogs to combat lions, and 2 lions are most proficiently described, and one was Nero and the other Wallace, and they are both big lions, whereas Wallace was a smaller one born in captivity and Nero was a bigger one, but not born in captivity. About this lion baiting, I showed you some pictures. Well, I will show you some pictures in a video. They normally had dogs against these lions that had a chance, so to say, or a little bit of chance, but very oftentimes those lion baiting contests was a means to show the superiority of the rulers over the common people. So, as you might know, the lion is also known as the king of the jungle or king of all animals, and those kings also want to show how superior they were, and also that they were not even really attempting to fight. Such things were often placed upon the lion, also being majestic and very brave. And lions are very brave, especially male lions. They're one of the only animals that are known to be game as compared to a game dog. So, for example, male lions are known to fight to death even when they are faced with 2 other male lions and want to take over the pride. So one male lion is the alpha of the pride normally, and oftentimes upcoming lions they work together. Sometimes upcoming lions are alone, but very often they are with 2, and 2 younger male lions will then challenge one alpha male lion that's getting older and fight to the death, because that older male lion wants to keep his pride, otherwise he will die, because his power is still there, because the lioness capture a lot of food for them, but they will wane off if left alone, and therefore they fight so viciously. The only other animals that are known that are dead game, so to say, or really game in the sense of a game dog, are marten species. So, for example, badgers, wolverines, the likes, but also weasels and ermines, and some other martens are known to be very feisty. Also, polecats are really feisty game little creatures, very oftentimes. But back to the lion baiting, so oftentimes they use big mastiffs, and because in dog worlds a mastiff is a big powerful dog, of course, but they were not so good as compared to the bull and terriers, which are the true gladiators, modern incarnations, and they were also used to fight bulls or bears, and those were let loose against a lion. In the case of Nero, he was a lion approximately 320 kilograms. He was facing 3 dogs, and those 3 dogs were set loose on him, all had to wane off, but their average weight was 18 kilograms, and one was a really thoroughbred game-bred bull and terrier, and he was 60 kilograms, and the other 2 already were mauled very hard, and only this Turk purebred game-bred bull and terrier kept going on, and he was 60 kilograms, as I mentioned, so 20 times smaller than that big Nero lion. And now you might say 320 kilograms is very big for a lion, cannot be done, but in the past lions were a lot bigger than they are now, because of being hunted by men. Only the smaller lions normally survive, whereas in the past they had really big lions. And that's proven by scientific evidence. It's also in the pictures that I will put up, so please take a peek. And on the other side there is so he fought with his 3 dogs, but the contest was 6 dogs against his lion, and 6 dogs of 18 kilograms. Six times 80 kilogram on average would be 180 kilogram, and that's like 1/3, almost 1/3 of the weight of the 320 kilogram lion. So the lion would be, if those 6 dogs are facing him at one time, still almost 3 times as heavy as those 6 dogs combined. But he wasn't facing them all 6 together, he was facing them in sets of 3 at a time. So that would be almost 6 times as heavy as the opponents at that certain time point. So you can imagine that the dogs had it very heavy, but the third dog that already came out of a match was still healing from its last match against a bigger dog that he was able to kill. Already had a swollen head and damage to its head before it faced the lion. And those 3 dogs stayed with the lion for 11 minutes. And the third dog died afterwards from its injuries. So 11 minutes they were able to withstand a dog, in dog terms, an opponent that was 3 times as heavy of the complete set of dogs and 6 times as heavy as they were in the bouts. And after that they released the second 3 dogs, because 4, 5 and 6, and then this big lion, Nero, got hurt and didn't want to fight anymore. So those that were from the lion camp said he won, because he was just too majestic to fight his mere mortal dogs, still weighing 6 times as much as the bout he was facing, and 3 times as much as the complete set of dogs. But those at the dog camp said no, he didn't want to fight anymore, and the dogs would have killed him if the match wasn't stopped in favor of the lion. So this was quite inconclusive, to say the least, but still it was given to the lion, and then they said, okay, we will bring another lion, and now they brought Wallace. And Wallace was a smaller lion, but enormously ferocious. So in contrary to this Nero dog, he attacked the dogs very hard all the time, and he also killed the dogs. But he was now facing those 6 dogs, but Turk was not there anymore, and that was the dog that was able to stick with the gigantic lion for 11 minutes before it was picked up. But 60 kilograms, not a small feat, but he died, as I mentioned. But on the other hand, of the 6 dogs that were facing this Wallace dog, there were also dogs from the first bout that were already enormously maimed by this Nero lion, and now facing Wallace. They took him mere minutes a dog to defeat them. So in summary, our dogs able to defeat a lion. In the case of Nero they were, in the case of Wallace they weren't. Although I must say that the dogs that were facing Nero, some already had injuries. I don't think it would make that much of a difference. But 4, 5 and 6 of the first bout were able to close the deal. Whereas in the case of Wallace, who also was released to face 3 dogs at a time, or perhaps 2 dogs at a time. If you look at different references, they said that they, in case of Wallace, they decided that they have to, the lion has to face 2 dogs at a time, but for them for 3 bouts. And that could make it a lot easier, of course, because then it would be not 6 times the weight difference per bout, but 9 times. And I think that just makes it a big difference. That being said, also the Wallace lion was smaller than the Nero lion, so could make it a little bit more fair again. But still, if the lions were facing the same weight of dogs of this bull and terrier breed, I'm almost 100% sure that it would be different, that the dogs would have won and just teared it apart. Of course, some might have died. I think they would, but it's not to be said that a gladiator type of dog cannot win over the same weight of the king of all animals and the king of the jungle, also known as the lion, which is a formidable warrior itself. But the same weight was not tested in this bout. There are stories known that 6 mastiffs were facing 1 lion, also a big lion. So for the same reference, it would be again a lion of 300 kilograms. 6 mastiffs would be the same size of dog in kilograms, if they were weighing about 50 kilograms apiece. But on the other hand, a mastiff is a completely different animal than a bull and terrier. So the 6 mastiffs didn't want that much of a piece of that lion and just were not able to put the resistance that they wanted. Whereas those bull and terriers just went in. And now you might be thinking that your dog is much tougher than a cat. But if you look at pets, cat pets are often very much stronger than cat dogs, especially in the same weight range. If you, however, are comparing a working terrier dog, for example, a Patterdale terrier, Fel terrier, a border terrier of working lines, or a game dog type of dog, I would bet on that animal over a cat, even in the same weight range. But dogs, pet dogs versus pet cats, I think 99% at the same weight, the cat will win. There are some differences between dogs and cats, and one is that cats are extremely explosive, very athletic, also better hunters. Even the pet cats are often a lot better hunter, but the dogs have a bigger heart and can go the longer haul. But those pet dogs don't have the temperament and also are not selected to perform anymore, whereas cats still are quite able to fend for themselves, have to catch rodents, catch birds and kill and eat them, even without support of humans, whereas dogs have it a lot harder. What I also found, for example, street dogs, and street dogs are known also to kill cats, but take into consideration that the average street dog is a lot heavier than the average street cat. Okay, I hope you like this video. Have a great day. Bye bye.